Recorded November 1st, 2023. Good afternoon, Rod. How are you doing?
I'm I feel pretty good. I feel good. I feel good. Just got back from a run. A little wore out because it's really hot here, but other than that, I feel pretty good. You like? I've got the Security Copilot background, and I've got the Security Copilot headset on.
I believe the background. I think you're yanking my chain with a headset.
You don't see it?
I can see it, but why is it a security co-pilot headset?
I don't know. Doesn't it look like I'm a pilot? I'm flying something. Maybe it's a helicopter. I don't know.
Boom, boom, boom. Dead jokes. I did see a virtual reality set of glasses on somebody at the airport when I was traveling over the weekend, and it was yeah.
That's funny.
And but no, man, I to our watchers and listeners, you'll notice that two of our cohorts are not here because they're just so important. They couldn't make the show. But no, Andrew's traveling and Brody's doing what Brody does. So it's Rod and I today, and no guest. This is one of our monthly Just Us sessions, and we give a break. We're lining up guests to close out the year, do some planning for next year. We got a Christmas dance off that we're
We
gonna
do.
have. Yeah, I'm working on my moves. And yeah, you said you feel good. You had a good run down there. I had a decent run. It's actually cold where I am, and Ed doesn't do cold too well. But you do anything interesting? Even though I know what you're doing, but anything outside what you told us what you're doing?
So what am I doing this? Okay, so I'm in Miami this week at a conference called the Midwest Management Summit Miami version.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is not the Midwest. This is, southern United States in Miami, but it's a conference put on by folks that were upset when Microsoft folded the Microsoft Management Summit into Ignite. What was it? I think it was 2014, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they've carried this on. For the most part, it runs yearly in Minneapolis at the Mall of America, right? So that's where that Midwest Management Summit thing comes. But another time of the year, usually this time of the year, they have the conference somewhere else. It's been in Arizona before. It's been in Miami a couple times. I really like coming down here. Um, had a session on Monday. I talked about how to use AI to provide extra security value for security operation teams. And then today I finished up with another session on how to secure AI. And I may or may not have done a demo of Security Copilot on Monday. I don't know. There's a
Mm.
rumor that it happened. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I like rumors, but I don't believe them. Um, so myself took some time off last week for my birthday. Came back. The work doesn't stop. It was waiting for me, and so I'm working on that. Um, I'm involved in Ignite um, with you. So I'll be there for the setup, helping you load and move stuff around as needed. And then I think we got the layout, build outs, and monitoring and proctoring. And then I'll break out and I'll have to do some team airlift stuff because my team will be in town. And I think I got to present for the team also. So we'll be in Seattle here. And oddly enough, I'll see you for the first time in person.
Yeah.
We've been,
I don't know what to look for. You may be like 8 foot tall. I have no clue.
and that would be twice my height. Uh, No, not 8 foot tall. I'm expecting you to be like 6'9" or something. No,
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
it's
we're just normal people, right? We're not.
it's just normal people. Normal is relative and very subjective. Um, yeah, so I'll be there for that. It'd be good to meet you face to face, man. Seems like I've known you all my life, but I haven't met you. And we're gonna do that. What else am I doing? Um, I got some very outstanding news for Microsoft's first party security services, Defender Experts for hunting and Defender Experts for managed XDR. Um, we're opening up a channel in the customer connection program. I'm on that team,
Oh, cool.
Stretch Project. So when you go in and see Sentinel, MDA, MDE, and all these other things, you'll notice now that there's a Defender Expert. So I'll be a contributor for that. I'm on the V team building that out. Um, In the security community, tech community, you'll see me writing blogs around Defender experts and a few other things. And I can't share anything because they're still sort of embargoed, but there are going to be some very interesting announcements and enhancements around our first party services once again. Defender experts for hunting and for managed XDR. And for those who don't know, we can get some show links and notes. You can just Google it. Google it. You can Bing it, whatever your search engine of choice. You may have a choice after the Justice Department finished with Google. Coming
I
here,
saw that today. I read that today. Yeah, that's going to be.
They're serious
Yeah.
because what they're presenting and what they're accusing Google of has precedence. Microsoft was guilty of this, right?
Yeah.
And so you can't see here and then now there's a paper trail. You're paying people to make your browser embedded of a sort. And if you're paying $14 billion to $20 billion to various entities, you're not paying. It's like playing pro sports. And I got a decent amount of that I could actually call friends who play professional sports, well, football, baseball, by virtue of my son, right? My youngest boy got drafted, didn't really play in the major leagues, but you stay those connections. A lot of his buddies play. And there's a rule. If I'm paying you $5 million, I'm making $10 million off of you. So if Google is paying $24 million, they're making $48 million somewhere. Billions now. And that wasn't really a problem with Netscape. I'm dating myself. But that's how it is. Business evolve. I think Microsoft sort of realizes winning the browser wars may have benefited them. Not winning the browser wars may have benefited them. Because if you think of anybody who had the right recipe to create it's built, is there, right? But I guess the hand slapping on other things say, nah, let's not do that again, right? What else did I do? I watched Richard Diver today on a secure webinar that was pretty good, internal only. I need to reach out to him. Big shout out to you, Richard. Come on the show again, man. You are a wealth of knowledge. Just listen to you today, man. You get it. And Matt Sosman, if you listen and you ghost me, you need to call me tomorrow. And what else? Sammy, that was on our show 2 episodes ago. Thank you for the very nice Defender Experts infographics that you created. Is really good. Yeah. The dude's he's good. And he puts a lot of effort into it. I want to help him do some of this stuff. At least make it. He does it for a passion.
Yeah, he could run a business with that.
He could run a business. He could. And I'm trying to convince him of that. But when people love doing what they're doing, they start to hate it when they have to make it a business. So
that's true.
Ed, pull back, Ed. Don't be the capitalistic salesperson that Brody accuses you of being, right?
Hey, we're one of two people. We either write code or we sell code. That's it.
Microsoft is a marketing company that sells software. There you go. And if Novell had take the same thing, they'd still be around, right? Because their products were solid. NDS, I was a CNE 4.0, 4.1. And IPX was the noisiest thing outside of UDP, right, at the time, right? Yeah. Broadcast. But it was good for playing Duke Nukem and Wolfenstein and Hederick. Once again, dating myself. What else? Setting up a new computer. Chip said, think Twitch as a reminder option. You need to change your Twitch stream about the message that's the wrong time listed.
Yeah. So it used to always be 5 o'clock, and we adjusted it, and we have to periodically just for the guests. But yeah, that's right. We'll update that. Thanks, Gary.
We're testing your loyalty to follow us, right?
Yeah.
For any of our listeners,
did you see yesterday? Sorry, I was just thinking about this. Did you see yesterday the White House signed that executive order for responsible AI? I actually talked about that and went on a rant during my session today. So I read through that thing yesterday.
Mm.
I don't know how people feel about that, but that just invites bad legislation, right? Um, and it's not really regulation or legislation at all. It's literally just assuring that lobbyists can lobby.
Well,
Well,
they're doing the same thing like they did years ago. They flew on the radar. You would think they learned a lesson. What is that, Prop 230, which is shielding
yeah,
internet information brokers or information providers on social media and field, anything that's sort of digitally transmitted. And that law, I get it in the mission and the nation of it, because you really can't control what people post. I think a lot of people give Twitter and Facebook and whomever else a lot of too much credit. A big company does not mean you're efficient.
oh yeah, yeah,
Zuckerberg, as much as he might want to portray it, really doesn't have a clue about what is happening downstream, right? And you may be too big to fix it, right? Because to fix it would require that you impact revenue. Shareholders are not going to have that. When the fine is less than the revenue significantly, you get used to paying the fine, right? If if when I was raising my boys, getting a cookie without permission was only 30 minutes in the corner, they started saying, okay, shit, I ain't got
I'll
two
take two
hours.
cookies.
Yeah, I got 2 hours and nothing to do. I'm gonna give me 4 cookies, right? But when I pull that leather strap out, the cookie's not a very good option anymore, right? Um,
Yeah, that's when you
yeah,
reach for a Pop Tart instead.
yeah. Well, big shout out to corporate punishment. People not raising their kids right.
There you go.
Um, and what
Maybe we
else?
need that. Maybe we need that for phishing. For people that click on links, we need corporal punishment again for people that click on links in
Don't get
emails.
don't get our listeners started. They were suggesting that last week. We have some savages as security practitioners on our stuff, right? No
Yeah.
mercy, no quarter. Noodle said, "Don't mention the devil." Um, I mean, Microsoft has got the posh fizzy water this week. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He has a little bit of per diem he's spending. I got a little bit of
Actually,
per.
actually, I don't. I'm paying for this myself. I didn't get approval for budget for this, so most of this, the conference pays for the hotel, travel, and the conference. I have to, of course, pay for everything else. So I just brought the wife, and we're kind of treating it like a vacation.
Hey, you got to meet
Yeah.
my sister in podcast. Me coming to a night, I'm picking up a lot of the costs. You got me a pass to come out and help on the floor, but I picked up the cost because it's necessary. I learned that from Matt
Yeah.
Salzman. You need to pay for your brand when you go
Yeah.
out, right? We learned it from the what was the young woman that was on the call who went down to Red Hat and DEF CON on her dime.
Oh, Sarah. Sarah. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So you gotta, and then Ashley Campbell did the same thing. Big shout out to Ashley. She's a security specialist at Microsoft.
Wow. I haven't talked to Ashley forever.
Yeah, by virtue of her and Andrew knowing each other and really besties, and I know Andrew and we besties, so it's like a tri besties, right? But I did that for years. When I went and got my CCIE, I didn't let the company pay for it. They want to have some stupid, you can't leave the company or you have to pay it back. I'm like, well, I might as well just pay for it, right? And this was back in the day. But I always believe in investing in your own education when possible. Don't don't tie it unnecessarily to a company's comps or you know uh, conditions, right? I am a firm believer. Just my opinion doesn't reflect the opinion of my employer. That I don't believe anybody's skill set should be pinned to one entity, right?
Right.
Because nobody was comping me 2 in the morning when I couldn't figure out something, you know. And I'm sitting down here in the lab. I actually had a conversation with someone. We laughed our butt off talking about ISA server and TMG the other day. You remember TMG?
Yep.
Oh my God, I was load balancing OCS via TMG, and I had to do some migration from ISA server to TMG, and then it turned from then they started calling it Forefront Threat Protection Gateway or something like that, Forefront, and then oh my God, I'm old. Some of the technologies I've been doing, they're just gone.
Yeah, so a lot of the attendees at this thing have been around for years. I've probably known some of these people since 2000, right? We were sitting around last night talking about all the people that don't exist anymore, people that have either retired or passed away as part of this community, right? For the past
Mhm.
20 years or 20 or more years. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting
I
older, hey, there's wisdom and experience in being older in this industry, though.
And AI is making seasoned practitioners like you and I more valuable.
I
It's
believe
flawed.
so.
It doesn't have a conscience, and it doesn't have a sense of self preservation. We are very reluctant to give out the wrong answer. You got a machine that's doing it, and you don't have the experience to check the intelligence. Then, and I'm not even meaning the technology or reference. A lot of times when I'm troubleshooting something, whether it's in my job or I can still do a valve cover job on a car. I can still change an alternator. I can still go in and do spark plugs. I rebuilt a carburetor in my 78 Fiat Spider. I restored a Chevy Nova. And
But
those
you're in a
same,
position, to have other people do it now.
I am, but I like the ability to turn a wrench, and I like the ability to reference old technology to help me understand new technology, right?
Yeah.
Because it's if you don't have a basis to understand what they're trying to do, and some people think, well, AI is so new, there is no, but AI is not new. It is just predictive and massive language models. You're going to go from
Yeah.
an LLM to a MLM, massive language models. And that will come when you have collaboration, I believe. When you have a uniform, ubiquitous thing. Now, will that come? Probably not, because the competition is going to say our language model is better than somebody else, and we're going to have very exclusive access to it, right? So you're going to see that. And will you have a consortium where they share that? It won't be corporate, it'll be open source. But when we get our guests back, we can probably ask that question. Edward, any tips on vacuum fuel pump from my old carbureted Ducati, low fuel flow? Um, yeah, if you don't want to flood the engine, just go ahead and maybe create a larger fuel filter for it to go through, and that gives it a bigger prime for it to come in. Um, a couple other things you could do a reducer, so have it's going to burn rich. I'm asking a question to someone put a chat. It's going to burn rich, but you can do the inflow and outflow of the fuel pump a little bit larger than the fuel punch gauge, and then reduce it going in. It's going to sound noisy when it starts up and you get a little smoke. It'll run rich, but if you're just looking for startup, that's what I do. So in my Fiat, it's carbureted, but I put a fuel pump in front of it, so it primes the carburetor. When I hear it prime, it'll turn the car over like it's injection. So just like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So for our listeners, there was actually a question in the live chat about that. Edward's not actually at a garage right now, talking to someone who's pulled up, asking
Oh
for service.
no, I'm not. I tinker. So many people don't know how to change oil. True, Trevor. Chop firewood. I do it, and I have a large hydraulic log spool. Change the tires. Yes, you don't do them sequentially. You do opposite. And going to the doctors. I go to the doctor yearly because I am of that age. Fixing the toilet. Yeah, changing the flapper. I hate doing that. So we don't went from this to talking about how to do home improvement, right? Now we only need gardening. Um,
I
what
can't
else have
speak
I?
to that. We'd have to have Brody for that.
Yeah, something else we don't do. Ron, when was the last time you backed up your primary laptop?
I back it up constantly. OneDrive
Yeah.
OneDrive does it for me. Hey, did
No.
you know? I don't know if you knew this, and because I mentioned this because Andrea didn't know until recently. She was asking about. She was on one of her other laptops somewhere, and she thought that she had left a document on her desktop for a blog. And I said, well, just go to the desktop in OneDrive. She goes, what? Well, OneDrive backs up your entire laptop if you just allow it to allow the defaults. So you can, log in anywhere, go and access your OneDrive, and there's your whole desktop.
And you don't have to do that way. If you have your Edge browser synced and turn on files, so rather than syncing the icons and shortcuts, it'll sync that data across your desktops. And then OneDrive also has a feature called Access My PC. You can access your PC through OneDrive as though you were right there. OneDrive has all these little hidden features, man. It's actually pretty cool to be able to do. Well, I back all my gazillion computers up every Sunday, and because I almost had a conniption when I thought I lost one of my other laptops over there, and I don't care about the data. The data's in wherever it may be. USB. I didn't want to install all the apps. So I'm gonna test some of our users with some security tools because I was going through the stuff talking about, man, if I'd have lost this, how many out there still use SolarWinds Engineering Edition?
Oh, SolarWinds.
Yeah, SolarWinds, yes. And anybody that answers that question, how many of you remember Sam Spade? Oh yeah, good discovery tool. And then I used to use Cain and Abel when I was a red team, purple team guy. And what about Saint? Was a good tool I used to use. I cut my IDS and IPS teeth on Snort.
Yeah.
Doing that. And my GUI-based penetration tool way back in the day used to be something called Core Impact, and then there was another one called Iris. That was pretty good.
I remember that.
He said goals of the days of folder redirection. What did you used to call that in Microsoft? You used to call it file synchronization something or another. Can't remember. I use a Server 2019 file service, VMware VM, and push out my files to that and do that via V. Microsoft used to do something like this. When you get not Microsoft, Cisco, when you used to get a laptop, you didn't install any of the applications directly into it. You had a VM on your laptop. That was your working VM. Yeah. And Metasport still good, built into Kali. Yeah, you gotta. That's a if you're doing any type of just whatever. That's sort of like the main tool.
Old things are new again, right? You can do that with a.
And
you can boot into a cloud PC and just keep your apps there.
Flex said, "I got RAID 0. I don't need a backup since I got RAID." Yeah. Yeah, about that. iSCSI and RAID 5 and 10 and 1+0. They should test on all that stuff. Remember?
Yep. I remember taking the MCSE test with all that. Yep.
Yeah, I got my MCSE in 1998. Yeah.
That's about when I did. I was after my C&E was the big thing, the Novell network stuff, and then the Microsoft stuff came along. So figured I might as well do it.
Yeah, I cut my teeth on DR-DOS. That was the first DOS that I learned.
DR-DOS 7.
Yes, thought I was the thing. I had me a 486 with a math coprocessor. You couldn't tell me anything.
Oh, I had the turbo button. So.
Oh yeah, the turbo button. You turn it on, overclock it, right?
Yep.
God forbid you reach in there to try to take the CPU out, and you had the little rocker that you pull back, and then that would let the chip come out, and they would burn all your fingerprints off your hand. And then you had to have some dielectric heat cream to put on the CPU to put the fan on top, the cooling fans, right? Commodore 64 for the win, Gary. You're right. Gotta have it. I learned how to program BASIC on Apple I2E. At Apple. And I'll flex that straight to get jail. You go, Noodle. Yeah, there you go. What else, man? So real work, my G Suite subscription expired without me paying, and I forgot. And the only reason it alerted me because MCAS couldn't do any type of session control inside it, and it expired the account. So I got to renew my G Suite. I got a bunch of websites on a provider called Ionis that I forgot to renew on that, so I got to do that. What I did remember is to put in my CPEs for my CISSP because I don't want to take that exam again. Get it renewed, and I got to renew my SC 200 before the 17th, so I'll knock that out.
I did that. There's a lot more purview questions this time around, so be prepared for
Really,
that. Yes, absolutely.
Frank gave me some tips. Big shout out to you, Frank. I called Frank to get some advice. I'm getting ready to take another SANS course. I'm trying to get the SANS GFCA, which is the SEC 508, digital forensics, threat
Oh yeah.
hunting, something else. Um, it's not a trivial exam. So I'm going to take it dead serious, the same way Beth did. Um, and I want to get that. And I don't think I really have any North Star stuff. Martin, Rod, are you trying to hide while you're sitting by the pool in Miami with a new security co-pilot background? Yes, he is,
I'm
Martin.
actually trying to hide. I'm actually just sitting in the bed. I'm that wore out. I'm just sitting in the bed with my laptop, which is kind of sad.
No,
No.
no. I sit in bed with my iPad watching comic books.
Yeah. I good comic books this week, by the way. We'll have to talk about that one of these. Well, at Ignite, we'll talk about comic books.
You can have that fancy fizzy water, and I'll have my fancy fizzy water. Red cup security, everyone. Yay!
San Pellegrino.
And and a fail on my part. I did not get us any security insights T-shirts made. I thought I did, and my wife's like, "No, you didn't." Right. But what we will do, if anybody comes up to the night and says the secret word MSI podcast, you'll be entered to get a nice Christmas present from us.
That's right. Yeah, that's coming
We'll,
up.
we'll give you something really nice. Well, you don't even have to wait to Christmas. If you'll get an Ignite present, we'll give you something. I don't know. You get a sticker. You get a back scratcher. You know, get your back scratch, stuff like that. Um, you did take a Sentinel credentials cert, right? Did you talk about that last week?
Oh, I did. We talked about that earlier. So, oh man, it's gone. My mind is blank. What are they called now? They're not a cert, but they're a, what are they? Do you remember?
They're a
What are they
credential,
called?
right?
It's a credential, but what are they? It has a special name.
All right, somebody that's listening, applied skills thing. Yeah.
Applied skills. Thank you so much. Yeah, those are neat. I really like. The interesting thing that I noticed, the demo environments that you use for those credentials for completing those activities is the same people that we use for our pre-day workshop at Ignite. It's a company called Skillable. It's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. It's pretty neat.
I'm doing something right now because they gave me a free one to sort of vet, which is their Intune. So they said they give me some free stuff if I do 3 days of it. So I'm doing that this week. Um, yeah, Skillable. So what was your experience and which one did you take?
I did the Sentinel one because I thought, yeah, I'll just whip through this one really quick. And I did. It took me about a half hour, but I can see it probably for some taking an hour, maybe a little bit longer. I believe the limit is like 2 hours for that one. So you do have a limit. But yeah, I did it in about a half hour. It's pretty neat, right? So there's a list of emails that you walk through that it describes what you're supposed to do. And then at the end, click a button and it confirms that you did all the steps that were listed for you to apply in those emails. And it tells you how you did. And if you follow through all of them step by step, there's no reason why you can't get 100. It's not even a percentage they give you. It's just you pass or fail, but there's no reason why you can't pass.
Yeah, and it's all online, right? No registering. You just, well, registering,
Right.
but
It's tied to your Learn profile. So if you have a Learn profile, you log in with that. It's just like the regular search, the SC stuff, same profile that you use for that.
yeah, Manu said Microsoft is laughing all the way in the bank when ingesting G Suite and Sentinel. There are some stuff that you can do to tune it so you're not. It's difficult. I believe Jeff Slogenberger wrote one on the exact URLs you need to do to grab the logs. My first toe in the water with that was integrating MCAS or Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps into G Suite, and AWS, right?
Yeah.
But when you're actually talking about logging in the Sentinel, yeah, it can be expensive. But once you get the solution deployed, you can go modify the URL so you don't have to bring all the logs in. There's a way to do that. Or the endpoint API calls, whatever Sluggenberger was telling me.
Yeah.
Um,
You
and
know what I've
trouble.
noticed though, and it might be a reason why it's more ingest. Gmail's just gets, you don't see it because they handle spam differently, but Gmail gets more spam than Outlook.
Easy.
Yeah.
And well, you have to clarify. So Gmail can be, because they don't have a client,
Yeah.
the platform can be spammy. But Outlook being an interface client is a little bit different. Now, if you were saying Gmail gets more spam than what we call our free product, Outlook.
Outlook.com. Yeah.
Yeah, it varies. It wasn't intended to be robust on spam filtering. You got to get the full G Suite, but if you're using the consumer version, yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be spammy.
Well, Outlook can be spammy too. I don't know if someone takes their hamster home on the weekend or something, but as soon as Friday hits, Outlook just gets inundated with spam on the weekends.
um, yeah. So Noodle said, hit me up with a link. I guess you're talking about how to do that. Let me write a note. I need to ask Jeff S about it. I will claim no expertise in that. I just follow this blog, and since I redid my lab, I need to go back and do it. How to ingest G Suite Lite into Sentinel. And it gives me an excuse to reach out to Jeff. I hadn't talked to him in a while. Make a little note right here. I'll do it in the morning. What else I got going on? Redid my entire VMware infrastructure, left it as is. Trevor, you're going to help me upgrade from my antiquated 6.7 to what is it, 7.8?
Is VMware still a thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just, there were a lot of people complaining last week and the week before about the Broadcom acquisition. A lot of people being let go.
Dude, can I tell you something? So I was
Yeah.
sitting on a plane and I was waiting in line to use the bathroom. And the guy in front of me had his laptop. So he didn't have a shield on it. And I'm looking over his shoulder while I'm waiting. And he worked at VMware.
Oh boy.
And if you'd have saw he said internal, don't share, and all this other stuff. And I think dude got laid off, man. He slammed his laptop down.
I feel
It's like,
so bad. People have
yeah.
reached out to me on LinkedIn for Microsoft jobs because they're being laid off at VMware. So yeah, it's sad.
You know, it was coming because it wasn't that the cloud killed VMware. It was because the hypervisors don't seem cloud-like.
Yeah.
You had two very distinct things still based on where the compute resided, right? And so now hardware being a commodity and it's cheaper just let somebody else handle the hardware. There's still some uses for it. You can predict the cost pretty well by having on-prem and hardware resources traditionally sourced. When you're talking about upkeep, place to put it, power, cooling, um, hardware maintenance, maybe that saved VMware and a bunch of other places because those type of measurements weren't as prevalent now. So people are factoring in those return on investment, the building, insurance, cost, power, maintenance, failure. And so now instead of just measuring how much it costs, it actually says how much does it cost for me to maintain this. Um, And VMware never just partnered with a cloud company, or something.
Yeah.
They just stuck their heels in the ground and
After their
they
guns,
just
they were just like, yeah.
yeah. I just released a low-powered VMware solution for VMware Home Labs. Uh, yeah, hit me up with that so I can get rid of this hunking Dell 720i. That's this long and about how many U's is that? 1U, 2U, 3U high. I think it has 100 gig of RAM in it and 13 terabyte enclosed, and I got a EqualLogic SAN that's probably another 20 gigabytes. So I did the math, and for me to turn that server on and the SAN, it's cheaper than me running heat in the basement in the winter. So it just heats up the house, right? And then I did the work. Right, that's good on that. Um, what else did I break this week? Um, I think you've probably seen the last one or two iterations of Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps it's starting to be no longer categorized as a CASB. It's a SASE solution now. So that's coming where you're going to, people are pulling features out of it and putting it in other products. So I think it's probably going to go away. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, it's going to be a SaaS product here pretty soon. So what else? Didn't do any MDI work. Um, Signed up for my SANS course. So I'm gonna start working on the 508. What else am I gonna break? I think that's it, man. We'll have a full house next week, I believe. Well, let me see. What is next week? The 8th?
I'll be traveling during the showtime next week. I'll be headed to Seattle.
We need Brody here
So
because I'm not gonna lie. How many times have I opened the show? Maybe once. So I probably need to pick your brain. Brody knows how.
yes, yeah, the StreamYard stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I'll be back in the office. What is today? Wednesday? Friday. And then I'll be home till Tuesday of next week. So.
Yeah, try to be right.
So I'm going to answer this. I'm finally going to answer this for you, Noodle. Noodle has asked the question, is there a price for Security Copilot yet? And I'm going to answer it the way I will answer it till the end of time. I never talk cost, licensing, or pricing on anything, even if it exists. I don't want to get myself into that kind of trouble. But is there a price for Security Copilot yet? No. No, there's
Noodle, if you gotta ask how much it costs, you can't afford it. There you go.
Yeah, just need to build one for yourself.
Sure. I'm more in the line of paying somebody to build it for me. Do that, man.
Today is November 1st. Today, M365 Copilot is now generally available, right?
I saw that. Yeah, it's actually slick. I love the way it summarizes meetings I missed or team stuff. Right.
Yeah.
What else I want to say? Hey, what was the site that would convert queries and parsers out of Splunk into KQL? Was that a thing?
Decoder.io, right? It used to be free. Let's see.
Let me see here.
It used to be free, but now I think don't go to decoder.io. That's now something else. It's somebody that's listening and watching. What is it? It's what was the name of that thing? I thought it was
Microsoft. Actually, Microsoft Ignite, when I searched for it, came up first. Well, actually, just a banner saying register for it. There's Splunk to Kusto.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's uncoder.io.
Uncoder. Let me see.
Yeah.
Uncoder.
And I don't believe it's free at all anymore. It's by SOC Prime. I think you have to actually.
Yeah, SOC Prime. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
When SOC Prime got started, man, I met them in Israel, and they're pretty good. It's worth the cost of admission. If you're doing a migration and a transition from your platform of choice. Um, yeah, they have Unicoda CTI, Unicoda AI, Quick Hunt, manage, automate, discover, see resources, blogs, events. YSOC Prime transform. Yeah. I remember that. Ooh, they're big AWS shop. Makes sense. So if I go to platform, let me see. Let me see what happens if you sign up for it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But okay, you're right. It's SOC Prime. They're decent. Pricing. Let's look at pricing. I'll talk pricing since you won't.
Yeah, I don't
You
do
can
that.
join. You can join the community for free. Uh, for small to medium sized business, one security platform. Get started now. Doesn't give me any pricing. Says up to 800 hours a year saved in each research and coding. If you get the enterprise, says you can save 10,000 hours a year saved on research and coding. Um, but let me see what I get if I go say get started now. Let me see how much they charge me.
So there's a discussion going on, and Gary and Noodle going back and forth about pricing or price for something. I think Gary's talking about the price for M365 Copilot. Noodle's pricing for Security Copilot, and that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. And Trevor, I don't have any access to any VMware licensing. So I need someone who has that juice to give me a download to install the what is it, OPM? OPT? I'm not sure.
Down with OPT or whatever it is.
And Gary said correct. Maybe it's
Oh, he was answering me, I think.
VMG Advantage. You're talking yeah, OPP. No, Gary. I'm not down with other people's processors. Um, and I'm enjoying the fall, man. This is why I do a lot of my studying and skilling. I think this was a lot of time me and Brody would have our certification contest because he can study in the winter and the fall.
Well, it's just it's just what? Just taking them over. Just we'll have to find some new certification.
Well, I'm gonna do the Sentinel one that you
Oh,
did.
okay.
I my
It's
skills
just
not.
doing it's literally just doing the work. It's just doing the work for those. So yeah.
So Trevor says it's $200 for a year of 6 sockets of licensing and Enterprise Plus VCSA. Is that include vCPUs or actually 6 physical sockets? Because this thing has 32 vCPUs. How many of people on the call are familiar with HP Superdome? Never heard of it, Rod?
No. Huh.
I was going through my certification papers and just throwing some away and framing a couple. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm HP Superdome certified. This is years ago. This was HP's custom server that used the Itanium chip.
Oh my goodness. HP's done some strange things over the years. I was trying to think. There was some hyperscale. What was the name of that? About
HP
10 years back. Some kind of hyperscale rack mount thing they had. I forget. Yeah.
It was it in conjunction with Cisco? No, that was Dell. It was Dell, Cisco, and NetApp.
No, they partnered with us on something. They partnered with us on some hyperscale.
Oh, HPC?
System. The HPC stuff. Yeah. That we ran at Tech Ed for the labs and ran at Microsoft Management Summit for the labs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Richard said had to cut down trees to move one of those things from one data center to another. Yeah. There you go.
Just roll it down the hill.
Roll down the hill. Hey man, is Azure Stack still a thing?
It is. It is. That's the first time though that I've heard it for quite a while.
Can it run AI? Can it run OpenAI? Probably not.
Probably not at this point. Not until who is it? I was asking somebody today. who is it that's Qualcomm's creating a cheaper AI chip? Hopefully that
I,
will bring down the
well,
cost.
well, the one that you gave me a stock tip on.
Yeah. That's a long-term investment.
Oh, I bought enough. I'm a
Yeah.
marathoner. I understand the long game.
Their earnings come out the 8th or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I get a perspective since I only recently bought it. I assume I should get a perspective since I invested in it, right?
Yeah,
You
probably.
you get a stock disclosure. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Well, everyone, we almost consumed the hour, even though Rod and I sort of agreed off stage that we were going to just do 30 minutes. It was good to catch up and not have to put clean clothes on and behave yourself with guests, right? Um, we're going to have our guests from last week back on sooner than later. They were very enjoyable. It had a lot of downloads and a lot
Oh
of
my
viewing.
goodness, downloads, a lot of views. I think within the first week, what was it? We had a little over 5,000
Hmm.
listens to that one, right? Everybody liked that. So yeah,
And
it's
over
good.
the last 90 days, we've had over 10,000 downloads and listens. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're doing, and it's thanks to everybody that's on this call. We really appreciate you supporting, coming in, asking the good questions. Um, I think when myself and Rod and Andrew and Brody really divvy out, who can control what during the show, we'll be more active on Discord. I know I failed at that. I just have it, but I think it's still viable to do. We don't do much on Twitch. It's okay, but we really need to probably get on Discord so we can answer questions like we used to and field questions. Because when I finally got it reinstalled on my new machine and opened it up, I'm like, oh my god, so much stuff in here. People are asking me questions. And so I'm not
Yeah.
being rude and ignoring. I just
Maybe Noodle can find a good AI bot for us that would impersonate us and answer the questions the way that we would answer the questions.
mm-hmm. The answer should be listen to the podcast. I got my
Well,
red canary shirt
we
on.
talked about that in episode 121.
Yeah, 121.
Our last week's episode was 175, by the way. We're 25 or now 24 episodes away from 200.
200.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
So that would make us hit 200 in April.
I don't know
Or
anyone
eight,
named April.
whatever. 4, 8, 12, 16, 24. November, December, January, February, March. So that's assuming we have a show every week, right? Which we won't. So we probably won't. Yeah, we probably won't hit 200 until April because we're gonna have some dead time between Christmas and that.
Yeah.
Um,
But still, that's a big, mighty effort. We definitely have to have a celebration episode when that happens. So for our listeners, maybe we should invite some of our more avid listeners and watchers to actually be hosts. I mean, yeah, hosts or guests on the show for that
and
episode.
make them come on video, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And drink beer. I'll get the champagne.
I'll have my San Pellegrino.
Yeah, you teetotalers kill me. Don't want to drink. And yeah, you're right up there with the carpetbaggers. Don't want to have a nice. We're in the South, man. Deals are made with football tickets and brown liquor. That's how you shake hands and make deals. I did an EBC this week, man, and it was good to see grown human people in a room with
Oh, I bet.
adult
Yeah.
with adult clothes on. So if you're in Atlanta, um, the Microsoft office here has like a 4-star restaurant as well as a bar downstairs, and they always have a happy hour on Thursdays. Nobody goes home on Thursdays, so that's pretty good, and you get to see a lot of people you haven't seen. So Trevor said I froze my butt off in a tent. Yeah, that's what you get for going out there camping.
What's up Brody's doing, by the way? He's out shooting things.
He's out. That wasn't where shooting thing. What do you call it?
He said hunting, but
Oh,
yeah.
it wasn't hunting. He came up with a nice soft.
What?
Was it coaling or something? I don't know.
Coaling. That's even worse. Let's see. What did he say? What did he say? Harvesting. He's harvesting Bambi.
Harvesting.
Yep. Harvesting
You know what?
Bambi is what he said.
Noodle said get back on Discord. So I'm gonna press the Discord button on this new machine. and I got to log in. Oh, it's downloading massive update since I haven't done it. Let me put it right there. I'll leave it right here so I can get back on Discord. Discord is going to be really important to us. Is how we go about our business, and especially we start answering questions of the week. We would love to have some of our users who have deep expertise to be one of the moderators if you already aren't, and have that channel. Um, what I hate about it takes forever to do what it's supposed to do. It's driving me crazy. Don't go over there. Go over here. Yeah. Anyway, excessive population reduction. Sure. And now that I know it's not being used, uh, what is it shooting? Chevys? I don't know. And what you go wild about, Trevor? That the fact that Brody's out blasting Bambi. Brody's gonna kick me in the back of the neck when he gets back for saying that, so it'll be fine.
You know, I've seen those pictures. I would have assumed, because we've not seen Brody in person either, that Brody was a short fella, but I think he's taller than either one of us. He's like
Yeah,
a monster.
yeah, Brody, yeah. He's Canadians, all that maple syrup that they feed him.
Well, so it's not Bigfoot. I guess it's Sasquatch in Canada, right? So yeah. Not
Or
Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
or Yeti.
Yeti.
Yeah. Or Wendigo.
Wendigo, that's it. Oh, that's pure Alpha Flight right there.
Oh, big shout out to Rod understanding his Marvel super groups. You had Puck, Shaman.
Puck was the best. You know,
You
they just started a new Alpha Flight series. It's a limited series, but I'm positive that's going to go to a regular
and then
series.
you had the twins. You had Aurora and North Star.
Yeah.
And then you had
people always talk about gay characters in comics. North Star was the first gay character.
Yep.
Nobody realizes that. Yeah.
Yep. And then you had Vindicator.
Oh yeah.
And they had a beef with Wolverine, trying to bring him back because he's a Canadian weapon, right? I love talking nerdy comic book stuff. We got to get Vasu back on to talk Star Wars and stuff like that.
It's Star Trek. Don't say Star Wars.
What did I say?
You said Star Wars. She's a Star Trek fan.
I know.
Yeah.
My bad.
Hope she's not listening.
She's probably just counseling us right now and doing that.
Oh,
well, everyone, we're going to give 6 minutes of your life back. Thank you for coming on. I love these decompression shows where we don't really have to think. Not that we think much anyway. Do you have a guest next week?
We do not, but we could. Somebody's going to have to arrange that. Right? So Gary seems to know that there's a Captain Canada. No, I think that's Captain Crunch. I think, yeah.
I don't remember a Captain Canada, and I'm pretty well versed in comic books, Gary. You have to show me proof, brother.
There's Captain Canuck. I know that one.
And because Sasquatch was on Alpha Flight, and
yeah,
one of the best episodes written by John Byrne from Marvel.
He's the best. Yeah.
When they captured Wolverine and they went to Canada to rescue him, and Colossus was fighting Sasquatch, and whoever that writer was really good. Gary put in Wikipedia Captain Canada. It's like Captain Planet. Hey, Martin, have a good one. Thanks for staying up late as you are, man. I will see you next week, and thank you for the invite. I welcome shaking your hand, breaking bread with you, sir, having a good laugh. Anybody in Ignite, come up and introduce yourselves. We love to see our listeners and build that rapport. You know, maybe if we get big enough, we have our own conference.
Yeah.
You know,
bigger and better than Ignite.
But this is. Can we say this?
What?
This is last year Ignite.
It's not the last year of Ignite.
It's not.
Nope.
No, not last year.
Nope. We'll talk more about that after this Ignite.
After Ignite. Everybody disregard what I said. It's not true. I just heard rumors. When I say last year, I don't mean it's going away. Maybe a name change. I don't know. See, that's why you can't tell me, because I don't have any filter, man. Now everybody's gonna go, yes, it is last year at night. What are we gonna do? I bought 2 years worth of tickets. But I don't think most people know that you can exchange your night pass and it'll get you free into any Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert. Just show you a night badge. It'll get you there. I promise. Go to the thing and show it.
I dare you to try it. Yep.
We'll do that, right? But everyone, to our new listeners, I hope you enjoyed the show. Our little useless banter. We are serious sometimes. We do parlay knowledge and give knowledge out. This just was the one of those weeks. Um, and we'll see. Are we going to go back to 5 o'clock so we're not confusing people?
So that's a discussion that we have to have with one specific individual.
Yeah, I know.
So we'll talk about it.
As
I
Edward,
prefer 5. I do, but it's not about me. It's about our audience.
oh no, it's all about me. Sure.
Oh, well, okay, but yeah.
No, and you're right. Edward doesn't do well with NDAs. NDA for me stands for no damn announcements. So, so we can't do any more of that. Yeah, everybody's already going secrets out of the bag. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead to Rod now. He's gonna beat me when he sees me.
Well, that's one thing. Apparently somebody gave you the wrong data model, and EdAI just gave wrong information. So
I get wrong information. Hey, I can only reference things I can only reference things up to 1 month ago. So I don't know. I don't know. I got a SML. I got an SLM.
Increase your retention. Yeah.
Small language model. Right.
You have the data retention of the old Office logs. 30 days.
Is that what it was?
It used to be, yeah. And that's why people would move everything over to Sentinel, because then you can just keep them for 90 days or longer if you'd want.
That is true. Because when you go into the box, same thing with MCAS had 90 days, and you could go out and look at 6 months. But I remember when MCAS went down, and it was down for a while, and they had to re-ingest all the data when they upgraded the microsources on the back end, because it was rolling. And the way I found out, it was rolling off device inventories, and every day it got smaller because it couldn't query devices in MDE. And then I went into the outage thing, like, oh crap, MCAS is down hard.
Yeah.
But they put all the data back in. So Trevor's like, it's EST, I don't care. And no, I'm not.
Funny thing was, it was the MCAS alerts that let everyone know that it was down.
It was the MCAS alerts and they were down. You're right. And I'm like, oh. And I was doing a project where I needed it, like killing me, Smalls. So it's all right. All right, everyone. Have a good evening. Thanks so much for being loyal listeners and everything. If you are at Ignite, come over. I'm the short, good-looking black guy. He's the tall, skinny white guy. He's my straight man. Laughs at all my jokes. We'll do that, and I will buy you a beer, and of your choice. And if I really like you, I'll buy you a whiskey of your choice, and we'll go from there. All right. Next time, here we go. Back to the old question. What time are we on next week? 4 or 5?
We'll do it at 5. I will schedule it at 5 o'clock next week.
5 o'clock. I'm all about that. Good night. God bless. Look both ways before you cross the street. Don't run with scissors in your hands, and don't take any wooden nickels. There you go. Good to go.
Talk to you next week.
Next week.